Greetings, CBC. Welcome to this week's Sunday warm-up. I want to give you all the sermon notes that I can here at the first part of the week like we normally do, but I'm going to be heading in just a minute here to Parkside Church. I'm right outside the church now, getting ready to go into the pastor's conference. Really excited about this. Matt and Tommy are joining me. We're going together. First time I've ever been to this pastor's conference, and I've wanted to go for years, so really excited to be here for the next couple of days, and wanted to, like I said, get the sermon notes out to you here. So I'm going to go real quickly on this one because I want to get inside and get started with some things for the conference. But we're in our Jonah series, so definitely read all 4 chapters of Jonah again. It's just 4 chapters. We covered chapter 1 last week. This week will be on chapter 2. So Jonah chapter 2 will be our focus. We have Jonah's prayer that really is the bulk of this week's chapter. Let me give you a handful of just other passages that we'll see. Again, I noted last week that was interesting that Jonah thought he could flee from God out into the sea, which Psalm 139, go to that passage again, Psalm 139, 9-10, tells us that even on the sea, your hand led me. So take a look at Psalm 139, 9-10, Psalm 77, 16-19. Psalm 139, 9-10, Psalm 77, 16-19. We're in the middle, or really throughout Jonah's prayer here in chapter 2, are tons of different references to the Psalms. So we know he knew the Psalms and how he seemed to forgot that Psalm 139 passage. But as you're reading through Jonah 2, let me also just direct us toward a couple other passages. Psalm 37, 23-24. And Psalm 16, verse 9. A big part of the theme this week, again, is the providence of God, the protective care of God, seeing how the hand of God was leading Jonah throughout this journey. Even as he was running away from God, God's hand was redirecting him back. I think it's interesting that Jonah 2 ends with the fish vomiting him out. And so sometimes we get to the places where God is calling us to go because we are following his lead, and we are going with the wind at our back, and it's smooth sailing. Sometimes the hand of God's got to redirect us to get back to where God needs us to be. And so here Jonah is vomited out. And so are we going based on where God wants us to go and we're following his lead, or is God having to redirect our lives and essentially vomiting us out as well? So it reminded me of how God told those first disciples, you will be my witnesses in Jerusalem and Judea and Samaria and to the ends of the earth, and how they didn't necessarily go willingly, but they were pushed out with the persecution. So as we end, we want to remind ourselves of that again and take a look at Acts chapter 8, verses 1-8. That'll be a passage that we'll look at that talks about how the people of Israel, or those early disciples, actually got to Judea and Samaria through persecution. So, like I said, kind of excited to get inside here. Wanted to throw out some scriptures for you. Quite a few little Psalms to look at this week. Jonah chapter 2. Certainly be praying about our Sunday morning gathering, and be praying and being prayerful as we're studying the scriptures and through the book of Jonah about the providence of God, the sovereignty of God, the protective hand of God over our lives, and how God is calling us to be his faithful witnesses still to this day. Are we listening? Are we being obedient to that calling? Or are we, like Jonah, being a bit rebellious and running away from the voice of God in our lives? So God bless you guys this week. Would appreciate your prayers for myself, Matt, and Tommy as we are going into some time of study and this pastoral seminar together. So God bless you guys. You're in our prayers, and look forward to seeing you Sunday morning. God bless you.